So as we've discussed, the first 2 seasons of Legend of Korra are hot messes while season 3 is near perfection. So how does season 4, the conclusion to Korra's saga, hold up? Quite gaily in fact. Spoilers beware! So this season we've only got 2 new characters truly worth noting. Kuvira, our new big bad, who was kind of foreshadowed last season, but we'll get into that later. And Prince Wu, who...
I'm still human just like everyone else. Only more human. Like extra human or... superhuman.
I hate him. Our story begins 3 years following the end of Book 3. Kuvira has been restoring order to the Earth Kingdom with the help of Baatar Jr., Varric, and Bolin. But when it's time for Prince Wu to retake the throne, Kuvira pulls a surprise bitch and names herself the leader of the Earth Empire. As such, Tenzin sends the children out to find Korra, who's been missing for 6 months.
You can count on one of us. I don't know about these 2 ladies.
Yes, and her name is Jinora, thank you very much. Through flashbacks, we see that Katara helped Korra overcome her paralysis, but her PTSD remained. Out of frustration, Korra decides to head for Republic City, only to turn around when she sees a strange vision of herself when she was poisoned. She cuts her hair and travels the world, trying to reconnect with Rava. She eventually winds up in the swamp, where she meets...
Nice to see you again, Twinkle Toes.
Oh my fucking god, my heart cannot handle this! With Toph's help, Korra realizes that her past enemies meant to better the world, but went about it in the wrong way. Once Tenzin's kids find Korra, she manages to metal bend the remaining poison out of her body, and they head to Zaofu to stop Kuvira from conquering it. Unfortunately, Suyin is captured when she tries to take things into her own hands. Korra battles Kuvira for the fate of Zaofu, and... symbolism! But Korra loses, and she, the kids, and Opal are forced to retreat as Opal's family is imprisoned and Zaofu is taken. In the meantime, Varric and Bolin realize that Kuvira is cray-cray and try to escape, but are captured. Zhu Li turns on Varric and...
Guards, do the thing.
No! Not the thing! Julie!
This is so much more emotional than anything in books 1 and 2. Varric is forced to continue on weaponizing the spirit vines they took from Republic City, but uses it as a bomb so he and Bolin can escape. Still, Kuvira has Baatar continue the research with Zhu Li, asking them to dismantle Zaofu's domes as well. Korra arrives back in Republic City and reunites with all her friends, only for the spirit vines to go crazy from Kuvira harvesting vines from the Banyan Grove tree back in the swamp. Korra manages to go into the spirit world and truly begin her recovery process thanks to none other than...
You still seem scared.
The hair has returned to us! However, the spirits have abandoned the city, refusing to defend it in case Kuvira attacks. Bolin and Varric, after having been on the run from Kuvira's forces, arrive in Republic City, and to win Opal back, Bolin helps her, Lin, and Toph save Sue and her family. They head to a re-education camp, where we learn that Lin's father is...
The guy named Kanto.
Really? It's not Satoru? It's a guy named for a Pokemon region? Okay, if you say so. Now who's Su Yin's dad? But Zhu Li has been trying to tamper with Kuvira's super spirit nuke, and once we save her in the Metal Clan, we get the fuck out of Dodge, but not before Toph has a word with Kuvira.
You give metal benders a bad name!
You know, I think Toph sat this one out for the same reason she sat out the final battle between Aang and Ozai. We can't have a final battle that only lasts 5 seconds. But thanks to Zhu Li, we learn that Kuvira is marching onto the United Republic to retake it for the Earth Empire, and she's doing so...
On a giant mecha suit!
Kuveva? Thank you, Cellspecs, for that joke. But the spirit nuke has been attached to the Platinum Giant's arm, forcing Raiko to surrender, and General Fuckface McGee to be useless one last time. The crew tries to use Baatar Jr. as hostage so Kuvira will back off, but...
Everyone out! Now! Now!
To be fair, she wasn't willing to sacrifice her dreams for a guy, so... I guess this is a good thing. Whatever. Asami and Varric, thanks to Hiroshi, make some hummingbird suits so they can saw their way into the mech. And once the OTP gets engaged and Hiroshi sacrifices himself... and Asami is officially Batman. Korra and the others manage to get inside the Kuveva. Lin and Sue render the spirit nuke cannon useless, Mako takes out the energy generator, and Korra takes on Kuvira. Once the robot explodes, Korra goes after Kuvira, but as Kuvira tries in one last ditch effort to kill Korra with the cannon, it goes crazy. Korra energy bends the nuke, and winds up blasting them both into the spirit world, opening a new spirit portal in the process. Korra and Kuvira have their villain with the sad anime backstory talk, Kuvira surrenders, and everyone celebrates the OTP's wedding.
You just make me so dang happy!
This is love! Wu decides to transform the Earth Kingdom into a democracy, and the series ends with Korra and Asami going on their honeymoon into the spirit portal. Oh, by the way, Korrasami is canon. Lol, bye! Let's touch on the Korrasami issue first of all. I've got no problems with it. A lot of people have argued that it makes no sense as it wasn't hinted at, but to that I have 2 points. One, it was hinted at through Korra writing letters only to Asami, to them holding hands when Korra was poisoned, and in Korra's blush when Asami complimented her hair. And two, which is a problem that arises from those very small hints, is that it's a miracle a same-sex relationship in the show even happened at all. Book 4 came out in 2014, a year and a half before Loud House would debut with a same-sex couple for kids. Likely to avoid homophobic backlash among parents, Nickelodeon tried to have the writers minimize Korrasami as much as they could. This is why they only hold hands, in a stroll down the street kind of way, not in a I'm sorry you were nearly murdered by a psychotic short-sighted anarchist kind of way. And why they don't kiss. From the admittedly small sections of the Turf Wars comics I've seen, they do give them more time to shine as a couple and even discuss what being LGBT means in the Water Tribe and what it meant to the Air Nomads. Of course, if I were in charge, I'd increase the gay levels to 9,000, but it was still a decently sized leap. I still think a kiss would have been much better though. Also, to those who say Korrasami makes no sense because they liked Mako, y'all know bisexuality exists, right? As for Korra's trauma, I enjoy how it was handled. Up to after Zahira leads her into the spirit world. After that, it's kinda just dropped. Korra does come across as much wiser than she once was, but we don't see her hesitating during the fight with the Kuveva and fighting through it. That said, that final battle was so tense, oh my god. While Kuvira isn't my favorite villain of the series, I do love whenever she's on screen. She's charismatic and knows how to manipulate people, as you'd expect any dictator to. Her rise to power makes perfect sense given the power vacuum created by Zahir, and to be fair, the Earth Kingdom would have probably been completely burned down to the ground without her trying to restore order in some way, even if she went overboard with it. My only complaint is that while Kuvira was repeatedly shown and kinda hinted at last season, the only one I can see standing out to the casual viewers is her moment with Tonraq in the Book 3 finale. What I would have preferred is if Kuvira was more prominent in Book 3's story, with her befriending Korra and maybe joining the crew and chasing after the Red Lotus. It'd make the Kuvira conflict in Book 4 feel even more personal. That, and I'm kinda disappointed we didn't have a Red Scare, quote unquote, with Kuvira justifying her actions through paranoia of the Red Lotus. As for everything else, I love the use of the time skip. I wish we had this between the other seasons because it's so interesting seeing how much things have changed and where everyone is. I also love the new designs for everyone, with my favorite one being Asami's. The only new design I'm iffy on is Mako's. Funny thing is, the first time I saw it in the Book 4 trailer, I thought in this clip that the spilled food on Mako's shirt was a flame pattern. Rip cool design potential. So all in all, Book 4 of Legend of Korra is great. Not as good as Book 3, but close enough to provide a satisfying ending to Korra's mess of a journey, and definitely miles better than Books 1 and 2. Had it not been for the budget slash with more gayness, it would have been much more sweet. Also a note on the Remembrance episode, it really is the best case scenario we could have got. It beats having to cut the staff to save on budget. And now it's time for a traditional funny moments section, because this series is a hot fucking mess and we are going to relish in every minute of it.
We have you and your brother booked in the same room with only one bed.
It's no mistake.
God, no.
Desna sleeps in the tub.
Oh, thank God.
You're blind compared to me. Imagine me in my prime. I would have destroyed you.
I love Toph. Seriously, who else wants to see Book 3 Aang, Katara, Toph, and Zuko versus the Red Lotus? Team Avatar would crush them like bugs.
Carry me?
No.
Not sure if I ship it or not.
Julie, shut it down! There are too many Varrics!
You can never have too many Varrics!
This is about equality.
I like her.
I want you to know, I hate you.
Oh, how far this relationship has come. Woo down! Woo down! And stay down!
Come on, your octopus fritters are getting cold.
The gay is everywhere, and I'm here for it. And last but not least...
What about the time you guys took down the Fire Lord?
It was hot. I was on a blimp, and I think a giant turtle showed up.
I demand the original series, this series, the comics, and the Shyamalan movie put to Toph's commentary. Can you imagine?
You're terrible at telling stories.
You're terrible at listening to them.
Enjoy the review? Glad to hear it. Want to murder me to release your anger, then sacrifice me to the internet gods? Hit the dislike button. It's still interaction. I'll be doing a review for Ruby Volume 5 next Friday, and a Flip the Script episode for Korra Book 1 this Tuesday. I've also hit 4,400 subscribers at the time of this recording. Thank you all so much for your support, and I want to note that once we cross 5,000 subscribers, I'll be starting up a Patreon, so let's make 2018 the year of the asshole parade. I'm also publishing a book this year, so if you could check out the synopsis and first chapter in the description below, I would really appreciate it. I'm the Unicorn of War, and this has been a shit show. But can we just appreciate that gay has become a compliment? I am here for it.